As you guys are probably well aware, I am a PlayStation YouTuber. I've been enjoying PlayStation ever since the PlayStation 1 first came out. My friend Pablo got a PlayStation 1, Twisted Metal, and Tekken when the system first came out. He had a little brother named John P. I used to go over there. We used to play it. I'd have a lot of fun. It was very cool. And then I realized, I guess my parents don't love me because I did not get a PlayStation 1 when it first came out, and it took many, many years down the road for me to get my PlayStation 1 when they were dirt cheap. But alas, ever since then, I've always bought PlayStation systems relatively early in the life cycle, if not on launch day. Even the handheld systems, the PSP. I remember my mother came to visit me in my stinky, smelly one-bedroom apartment that I had. It was like 11:30 at night, and she was very confident in something that I knew she was 100% wrong on. So I made a bet with her, and I said, if I could prove to you that you're wrong, I don't remember what it was, but I said, if I could prove to you that you're wrong, you're putting on your shoes, we're going to the 24-hour Walmart, and you're buying me a PlayStation Portable and one game of my choosing. And she was so confident that she took that bet. And guess what? I won. So we went to Walmart at nearly midnight because, like I said, it was 24 hours. I got a PSP and I got Tony Hawk Underground 2 Remix on the PSP. And that was my first PSP game. But I'm a fan of Sony. But I'm not necessarily a fan of Jim Ryan, because Jim Ryan, the Jim Ryan era of Sony, has been nothing but lies and crap, in my opinion. And this is just my opinion. If you get mad at me, I'm sorry, whatever. You'll get over it. It's an opinion about video games. But Jim Ryan sucks. Like, first off, he lies. He lies to you. Lying Jim Ryan. There's a reason why people call him Lying Jim Ryan, because he lies. This is only possible through the power of the PlayStation 5. And then the game freaking comes out on the PlayStation 4. You lied. You lied. You lied to consumers, and people like to give him pass. Oh, it was just word speak, whatever. No, the dude lied. And then, of course, you have the hike of PlayStation Plus prices, which obviously wasn't his decision alone, but I'm sure he didn't try to stop it. I'm sure he didn't try to say, no, this isn't fair to consumers. He was probably like, hell yeah, I'll make more money. Make this happen. So now PlayStation Plus increased their price. It's going to be $80 to play your PlayStation 5 online. Is that not insane to you? Is that not absolutely ridiculous? And it's not like they're increasing the value by making online better or adding in more games into the higher PlayStation Plus tiers, because those tiers have pretty much dried up and you're not getting the same quality games. Where are the PS2 games? I'm not counting a PS4 version of a PS2 game. Where is a PlayStation 2 game? A game that is only available on the PlayStation 2 on the service. There's nothing. Where are my PSP games? There's minuscule amounts of stuff on here. But that's not what we're here to talk about today, even though this was a very long intro, because I'm setting a scene for you of the Jim Ryan era of Sony and how this is playing going into 2024. Now, when the PlayStation 5 came out, obviously came out in the middle of a pandemic. You're not expecting games to be churning out at a rapid ratio because Xbox wasn't doing that either. And Xbox took a while to catch up while Sony had some, a drip feed of titles. Games like, Demon Souls Remake, Ratchet and Clank, Returnal. But there were some Sony related titles there. But after a few years, you would think that things would start getting better. Right now, it is November 17th when I'm filming this. You're watching this on November 18th. Name me one game beyond Spider-Man 2 that we know is happening in 2024 that is a first-party Sony game. Now, Spider-Man 2 looks absolutely phenomenal. I'm going to shower Spider-Man 2 with some praise right now. Spider-Man 2 had the whole Tears of the Kingdom syndrome. We're like, this game looks the same. This is the same game. And it's like, are you an idiot? Like, are you not looking at the same game I am? First off, you obviously know nothing about New York, because adding in 2 boroughs dramatically increases the size. Like, look at a map or something like that. Like, you're going from, Manhattan to multiple boroughs being added and pretty much doubling the size of the game. But even the graphics look better. Even the mechanics are different. You have a parry now. We got some previews out there. You can do 30 frames per second ray trace, 40 frames per second ray trace, 60 frames per second with ray tracing. This is a very impressive game. And this goes back to Insomniac being pretty much the cow's teat for the PlayStation, and I feel like this teat is getting milked dry at this point, because Insomniac is the only company that's a first-party Sony studio that's churning things out at a decent enough rate, high-quality titles, to where it's like, yeah, I'm excited for Insomniac games. But I go back to my main question. What is there for 2024 in first-party titles? Wolverine? I don't think Wolverine's coming out in 2024 because, like I said, we're milking that teat right now, and like they're working on Spider-Man 2. I don't think that Wolverine is a 2024 game, and even if it is, it's probably a very end of the year title at the absolute best. You're going to try to sell me on Helldivers 2? You know what? Just for the sake of conversation, I'll give you Helldivers 2 as a first-party title, even though it is not. Helldivers 2 is a game that is being published by Sony. However, it is not developed by Sony. So this is a situation like Bayonetta 3, where Nintendo is publishing the game, but Platinum Games is making the game. Essentially a second-party game, but for the sake of argument, I'll give you Helldivers for 2024. Does that game look good to you? Is that a game that you're excited about? Did that last State of Play presentation, which was essentially a rehash of the summer showcase, but with more trailers of the same games, does that game look good to you? Did that trailer sell you on it with these robotic ass people talking to each other like, well, we're real gamers here. We're really talking in this game and playing it. Like, no, it sounded like freaking AI was doing it. Where are the slurs? Where are the I hate women stuff? Like, if you play an online game, I'm not saying that I say that stuff, but if you play an online game, that's what you're hearing, okay? That's just the fact of the matter. You know, you don't have to like it. You could want to change it, do whatever, that's fine. But factually, that's what's happening here. But that Helldivers game, it didn't even look good. It had performance issues. It looked like, you know, every other game that is kind of trying to do that style of game. Like that, what was that one game? Outrunners? It wasn't called Outrunners. I don't know. It was that one. Brett, put the game that I'm talking about. You know what it is. It's that cover-based kind of shooter game, or it was like online, and it didn't have a good start. I can't remember the freaking name of it right now, but it doesn't look good. It doesn't look reinvigorating. It looks like a game that, unless it's in PlayStation Plus on day one, which is something they should be doing because they're increasing the price of it, I expect more games to be coming day one to this damn thing. I'm not going to play it. John, stupid Spawnwave, tried to hype this game up to myself, Nate the Hate, and MBG, and like, oh, we're going to play Helldivers 2? We're going to play Helldivers 2? No, we're not playing Helldivers 2, you son of a bitch. We have no interest in Helldivers 2. You at Helldivers 2 could dive into hell. I'm probably being too hard on the game. I'm sure it's a fine game, but it doesn't look fun to me, is what I'm essentially getting at here. And then you have Square Enix. If it wasn't for Square Enix, which is a company that, you know, they're having their own sorts of issues right now. If it wasn't for Square Enix, where would we be with the PlayStation 5? They did Final Fantasy 16 this summer, and they're doing Final Fantasy 7 Rebirth this spring. That is an impressive amount of content from them. You're getting two massive Final Fantasy games that are completely different opposite ends of the spectrum. It's not like they can reuse textures and stuff like that. They're having to build these games essentially from the ground up and releasing them in a very nice time window, along with the plethora of other, you know, multi-platform releases. If it wasn't for Square Enix and Insomniac, what are the exclusive games on PlayStation? Even Foam Stars, which I have dude, wait for that game to go on sale within a week of coming out. It's going to flop. It's going to flop just like Destruction All Stars did. You know, a completely forgotten about game. I would not spend my full price on Foam Stars, but maybe you're a reviewer or something and you want to review it. Sure, go right ahead. I'm sure Dreamcast guy will love the game, but I'm just kidding. I had to take shots at my friends in these videos. But, you know, Foam Stars doesn't look like a good game, but at least we know about it. At least we know it's another game. Where are the first-party Sony games? Wolverine's not coming out anytime soon. What, Marathon? You gonna sell me on Marathon? What is Marathon? I had never heard of Marathon because I'm not a PC gamer from the mid 90s because my parents didn't have any money. John, of course, knew about it, spoiled little brat, but RGT didn't know about it, and I still don't know about it because he didn't tell me anything about it. Jade Raymond's game. Oh, Jade Raymond. Jade Raymond is the biggest con artist in the past decade. What has she done in the past decade? She's gone from studio to studio, from place to place, worked with Google Stadia, and, you know, got a bag from them, and then Stadia shut down, so she didn't even have to, like, produce anything. I'm sure Jade Raymond's a fine individual, but she's a hustler, and she's hustling these companies and getting bags. You go, girl. You get those bags. But I'm not going to get excited about a Jade Raymond game. I know absolutely nothing about. Where's the Last of Us multiplayer stuff? Is that a thing? Does that still exist? Is that still coming out anytime soon? And if so, why have I not seen anything beyond a picture, one individual picture? Look, The Last of Us Part 1's game online was super freaking fun. I might have even liked the online more than I did the main game because I wasn't a huge fan of the main game story. I just thought it was very cliche. I know that's a unpopular opinion, and that's fine if you disagree with it. If you love that series, you love the stories in that series, great. You know, that's awesome. I just, you know, the gameplay was what I enjoyed more so in the game than the story itself. So I really enjoyed the online multiplayer. It was very tense. It was very cool stuff. But where's that Last of Us game? Like, what are we making? What's on the horizon here? Because right now, it is geez Louise. It is September 17th. You're watching this on the 18th. And I can't tell you one single game that I expect, a first party title that I expect to release in 2024. And don't say that they're holding stuff back, because that was the freaking narrative from that showcase. Oh, they're holding stuff back this summer. There's going to be another one this fall and they're going to show all the games. And what did they do? They showed you the exact same damn games. Okay, they've been showing Spider-Man 2 for quite a while now, and that game was never coming out in 2022 or anything like that. So it was, you know, Sony shows stuff early, but they're not showing us anything for 2024 yet. And if it wasn't for Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, what would you be playing on your PlayStation 5 that's an exclusive title in the spring? Like, it's crazy to me. It's crazy to me, and I can't help but feel like this is Jim Ryan's fault. And maybe I'm over-exaggerating it, but tell me some positive things that Sony has done under the Jim Ryan era. Tell me, please, for the love of God, tell me. In the comments, I want to see paragraphs of why Jim Ryan is a great and competent, you know, leader for Sony and all the great things he's done, because I haven't seen him do shit. I haven't seen him do anything except lie and raise prices of stuff. I don't know, man. People are going to, I already know people in the comments section are going to be saying I'm overreacting, this, that, and the other. But if I took the lineup of Nintendo Switch games coming out for spring, or for the rest of the 2023 and for early 2024, and I took, for exclusive games, if I took the lineup of exclusive games coming to Nintendo Switch for the remainder of this year and into spring of 2024, and if I took the lineup of exclusive games for PlayStation 5 for the remainder of this year and for early 2024, and I talked to someone who didn't know anything about video games, and I said, okay, here are two systems. They are in different points of their life cycle. Which system is the one that's dying? Which system is the one that is, you know, being phased out for the next generation console? And you looked at those lineup of games. Who's going to pick PlayStation 5? There's three games. There's Helldivers, maybe Foam Stars. You got Spider-Man 2, and you have Final Fantasy VII Rebirth. I don't know, man. If it wasn't for Square Enix and Insomniac, this PlayStation 5 would, it's mind-blowing to me. Like, shout-outs to the third-party developers. Like, you guys are the freaking MVPs right now for the PlayStation 5. And like I said, Spider-Man's going to be a great game. I'm looking forward to it. But I just feel like, you know, and there has been years with the PlayStation 5 already that we've seen that have been very, very slow years. And it's like, at what point in time are we going to start seeing the fruits of their labor? And I know people, you know, 3 games a year is more than enough. And like, maybe it is. But for me, it's really not. Because you're going under the assumption that you're going to like all 3 of those games. Let's say only 3 big first-party Sony games come out in 2024. You're going under the assumption that you're going to like all of those games. I don't like every Sony game. I don't like every Xbox game. I don't like every Nintendo game. There are tons of Nintendo games that I'm skipping. WarioWare, poop out the egg. I'm skipping that. I have no interest in that. That is not going in my playlist of games. You're going under the assumption that you're going to like all of those games. But what if you don't? And you're only a PlayStation 5 owner. I say PlayStation 5 because my PlayStation 5 has been sitting here forever. I don't play third-party games on my PlayStation 5. If they're multi-platform games, I play them on my Xbox. So this is a Spider-Man machine. This is a Final Fantasy machine, and it'll get some play from those games. What's it getting in 2024, man? Let me know. Are there some huge titles that I'm missing out on? Am I absolutely crazy here? I'm sure the Sony phonies, that's a good one. The Sony ponies are going to dislike this video, and that's fine. I don't care about likes and dislikes. I just want you to hear my impressions of Sony and many other people's impressions of Sony beyond just the fanboy visors. I have all the systems, folks. Okay, I own a Switch, I own an Xbox, I own a PS5. I buy these systems to play games on these systems. And that's the fact of the matter. Whew, 15 minutes. That's pretty long for a PlayStation 5 video. But as always, I am a PlayStation YouTuber. Let me know what you think of this in the comments section down below. Is this a gross overreaction by me? Or are you a little bit, do you think that 2024 is looking a little bit spooky? Looking a little bit spooky time for the PlayStation brand. And as always, guys, thank you for checking out this video. If you're new here, make sure you hit that subscribe button, like, comment, and share. Hit the bell as well. And as always, I'll catch you guys on the next video. Later.